In the quaint village nestled among lush hills and fertile farmlands, peace and prosperity reigned under the wise rule of King Obinna. The villagers thrived on their farms, producing bountiful crops that sustained not only their own community but also neighboring settlements. Amidst this idyllic setting, Princess Adanna, the eldest daughter of King Obinna, was a beacon of kindness and compassion. Known for her gentle nature and heartfelt concern for the well-being of her people, Adanna was adored by all who knew her. However, despite her radiant beauty and noble status, Adanna harbored a secret that caused her immense distress, a strong and unpleasant body odor that had plagued her since childhood. Even as a young girl, Adanna's odor set her apart from other children. Her parents, King Obinna and Queen Ebo, tried countless remedies to alleviate her condition, but nothing seemed to work. As Adanna grew older, her scent became more pungent, making social interactions increasingly difficult. Despite her best efforts to mask the odor, it trailed behind her wherever she went, creating an invisible barrier between her and those around her. The villagers, though respectful of their princess, could not help but recoil from her presence, making Adanna feel isolated and alone. The constant struggle with her body odor took a toll on Adanna's self-esteem. She began to withdraw from social activities, preferring the solitude of her chambers where she could escape the judgmental glances and whispered comments. Despite her parents' reassurances, Adanna felt that her condition made her unworthy of love and companionship. She spent hours gazing out of her window, dreaming of a life where she could be accepted for who she truly was, without the burden of her odor. King Obinna, deeply concerned for his daughter, sought counsel from healers and wise men across the land. He spared no expense in his quest to find a cure for Adanna's condition, hoping that one day she would be free from her burden. Despite his best efforts, the remedies brought no relief. The king's heart ached for his daughter, and he vowed to continue searching for a solution, no matter how long it took. He often sat with Adanna, offering words of comfort and love, trying to lift her spirits. Life at the royal court was bustling with activity. Nobles from neighboring kingdoms visited frequently, bringing news and gifts for King Obinna. Adanna, despite her struggles, maintained her royal duties with grace and poise. She attended court meetings, greeted visiting dignitaries, and engaged in charitable activities, always with a smile on her face. Her kindness and dedication to her people earned her respect, but the whispers about her odor never ceased, casting a shadow over her accomplishments. One vibrant summer day, the village was alive with preparations for the summer festival, an annual celebration of the harvest season. The villagers decorated the square with colorful banners, and the air was filled with the sounds of laughter and music. Adanna watched from her window, longing to join the festivities. She remembered the joy of past festivals, but the thought of facing the villagers' reactions to her odor kept her confined to the palace. She sighed deeply, feeling the weight of her isolation. Unable to resist the lure of the festival, Adanna decided to sneak out of the palace. She donned a simple cloak and quietly slipped through the garden gate, making her way to the edge of the bustling village square. For a few blissful moments, she watched the joyous dancing and listened to the lively drumming, feeling a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in years. However, a sudden breeze carried her odor through the crowd, and she saw the villagers' faces change from joy to disgust. As the crowd reacted to her scent, Adanna's heart sank. People wrinkled their noses, and some even covered their mouths and whispered behind their hands. The joy of the festival was replaced by a palpable tension as the villagers tried to identify the source of the unpleasant smell. Tears welled up in Adanna's eyes as she turned and fled from the square, her dreams of a normal life shattered once again. She ran until she reached a secluded spot behind some bushes, where she collapsed in tears. As Adanna crouched behind the bushes, sobbing uncontrollably, she heard the steady beat of a drum growing louder. Peering through the leaves, she saw a smiling young man from a neighboring village approaching, playing a hand drum. He seemed unaffected by her odor and looked directly at her hiding spot. When he reached her, he stopped playing and asked gently, "Why did you stop dancing? You looked so happy and free." Adanna was taken aback by the young man's kindness. "You can smell me, yet you still came to find me?" she asked incredulously. The young man, named Kamsi, smiled warmly. "I don't care about your odor. I think you're a wonderful dancer." Please, ignore the others and dance with happiness and freedom. His words filled Adanna with unexpected joy. Encouraged by Kamsi's acceptance, she decided to dance again. As he played a cheerful rhythm, she began to sway, then dance more freely. Kamsi's admiring gaze gave her confidence, and for the first time, she felt truly seen and accepted. Over the next few weeks, Adanna and Kamsi met secretly every day. They shared stories, laughed together, and he played his drum while she danced. Their bond grew stronger, blossoming into deep affection. However, Adanna worried about their different social statuses. She was a princess, and he was a commoner. Despite her fears, she cherished their time together, finding solace in Kamsi's unwavering acceptance and kindness. As their bond deepened, Adanna found herself opening up to Kamsi in ways she had never done with anyone else. She shared her dreams, fears, and insecurities, and he listened with genuine interest and compassion. Kamsi's presence brought a sense of peace and happiness to Adanna's life, and she began to look forward to their meetings with growing anticipation. She realized that Kamsi saw her for who she truly was, beyond her order and royal status. One day, Kami proposed to Adanna, expressing his desire to marry her and unite their villages through their love. Overwhelmed with joy, Adanna accepted, thrilled to have found someone who loved her despite her condition. However, their happiness was short-lived. A deadly plague swept through the countryside, and strict quarantines were imposed, separating the lovers. Adanna and Kamsi could only pray for each other's safety as they faced the uncertainty of the future. The plague spread rapidly, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Villagers fell ill with high fevers and painful boils, and many succumbed to the illness within days. The once bustling village became eerily quiet as people retreated into their homes, terrified of catching the disease. King Obinna and Queen Ebo implemented strict measures to protect the royal family, but the fear of the plague loomed large over the palace. Despite the precautions, Adanna fell ill with the plague. Her parents were devastated, watching helplessly as their daughter battled the deadly disease. The royal physicians tried every known remedy, but nothing seemed to alleviate her suffering. Adanna's condition worsened, and she became bedridden, her once vibrant spirit dulled by the relentless fever and pain. In a desperate attempt to save their daughter, Queen Ebo recalled an obscure tonic an old village woman had once brewed. Despite its repulsive ingredients, the queen insisted on trying it. The royal doctor mixed the potion, and they gently spooned it into Adanna's mouth. Miraculously, just a day later, Adanna began to stir. Over the next week, under round-the-clock care, the strange medicine, along with the queen's loving touch, slowly brought Adanna back from the brink. As Adanna regained her strength, she noticed an astonishing change. Not only had she survived the plague, but her lifelong body odor was gone. The prolonged feverish sweating seemed to have purged the smell entirely from her pores. Overjoyed, Adanna shared the miraculous news with her parents, who rejoiced at her recovery and newfound confidence. For the first time, Adanna felt free from the burden that had weighed her down for so long. With the plague subsiding, the village began to return to normalcy. As Princess Adanna ventured out of the palace for the first time in over a year, she was met with admiration and praise from the villagers. They were amazed by her transformation and newfound grace. Adanna reveled in the acceptance and admiration she had always longed for, feeling like a new person. As Adanna basked in her new reality, she spotted Kamsi among the crowd. Her heart leapt with joy, but her newfound confidence and sense of superiority clouded her judgment. Feeling she no longer needed to settle for a commoner, Adanna coldly brushed Kamsi aside. Hurt and confused, Kamsi reminded her of their love and the bond they shared, but Adanna, blinded by vanity, turned away, leaving him heartbroken. With her odor gone, Adanna quickly became the center of attention among noble suitors. Princes and lords from far and wide sought her hand in marriage, dazzled by her beauty and royal status. Adanna enjoyed the flattery and attention, but as she entertained these suitors, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. Despite their wealth and status, none of them could match the genuine connection she had felt with Kamsi.